This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country. Dude, this brand new 2025 Ford F-250 is super cool.
Yeah, Andre, we've got our hands on a single cab truck. When was the last time one of the manufacturers sent us something with two doors and a bed?
I can't remember. This is basically a work truck that went to the gym, picked up a diesel engine, and it's got an off-road package. It's got almost every option you could put on a work truck.
This is arguably one of the coolest ways that you could spec out an F-250, and we'll talk about all the reasons why.
But there's a but.
Yeah, there is a bit of a but.
It's the price, because when you hear the price, basically this F-250 Super Duty heavy duty truck has as many options as a kind of a cheap economy car. You could buy an entire car for the same money as the options on this truck.
That's true, but those options are what makes this so cool. And it's cool enough, in fact, that this was not in the Colorado press fleet initially, and you worked out getting this truck brought to us here in Colorado from all the way from Michigan?
Yeah, from Michigan. So basically this truck was born in Kentucky. Actually, dude, a couple of weeks ago, I went to the Louisville, Kentucky plant where most of the Super Duties are built. And also they built the Ford Expedition and the Lincoln Navigator there.
Right.
So he was born there, and then he went to Michigan because it also has this. It has a winch, which is actually a $4,200 option. But this is a dealer installed option, and it basically, this truck gets delivered to you with a winch like this.
Which is sweet. This is something they've been doing for a while. What makes this a rad option is not only can you tick that box when you're speccing out a truck to get it installed from the factory as soon as you take delivery of it, but it's all crash tested, it's testing with the cooling system, so everything about this works perfectly with the truck and really well integrated there into the bumper. It's not like it sticks out exceptionally far.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love, Andre, is this truck is bright race red with black bumper, black grille, black mirror caps, and that makes it look that much cooler.
Yeah, it just has the kind of the basic headlamps. I mean, these headlamps, I mean, I'm not in love with the way this looks. I'm in love with everything else about this truck.
Right.
But maybe if this was an LED lamp, I would have liked it a little bit better.
And that part I don't mind too much. We'll see how it performs at night.
Okay.
One thing that bugs me though, Andre,
What?
is this truck is an XL off-road. We'll
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what that entails, but if it's an XL off-road, why is it a street sweeper?
Well, it's not a street sweeper. If this was a street sweeper, regular F-250, 350, the front air dam would be about this low.
Is it even lower?
So we need to talk about the XL off-road package because it actually is almost a Tremor, not quite. So that gives you a modified air dam. Well, because you need a little bit of efficiency still.
Yeah, and if I were to buy this truck, first thing I would do would
You would
be
rip
pull
this
it.
off?
Yeah, I
Okay.
sure would.
Also, that gives you these tires.
Yeah, Goodyear Wrangler, so pretty aggressive tire, which is great to see from the factory because there's plenty of these work trucks that go to job sites that have some deep mud and some difficult enough areas to get through in order to show up and do the work that they need to do, that having a more aggressive tire from the factory is a worthwhile option to be able to spec.
And this is a Territory RT, and it's basically a 33-inch tall tire, M&S rated, LT 285/70 R17. And this is a Steely. That's why I kind of love the look of this truck. So it combines a lot of elements, you know, heavy-duty axles, actually selectable hub, which is also automatic, so you don't have to touch it if you don't want to. A lot of cool stuff on this.
Yeah, and the wheels are the size of a bottle cap, especially related to the size of the rest of the truck, even though there's a single cab. But that's part of the reason that you get some extra sidewall, which is nice. No side step, which I appreciate, so a little bit of extra room under the truck there and quite a bit of clearance underneath this thing. Look at how much air there is there.
There is, and also look, skid plates. So the other part of the off-road package for the XL work truck is skid plates, rear locking differential, and breather tubes. So basically, the axle differentials and also the transfer case have little breather tubes that go higher in the chassis, so you could ford a little bit more water with this truck.
And when this generation of the F-250 and the F-350 and everything came out, you and I both went to Michigan. We went on the launch event. We got to test this at Ford's Proving Grounds, which is pretty cool. And these XL off-road packages do 90 to 95%, I would say, of what you would want to take any F-250 and up pickup truck on off-road. So these are actually really capable machines, like you said, really not far off of a Tremor, especially because it's a single cab, so it's a little shorter and it's a little lighter. I wouldn't describe it as a light pickup truck.
We'll talk about payloads and towing in a second. You're absolutely right. But really what differentiates this from the Tremor, so the only way to get a Tremor is a crew cab, right?
Yeah.
And also Tremor rides on a taller tire.
Yeah, 35.
But other than that, this XL off-road package is about $995, which is actually a good value for what you're getting for that package.
Yeah, I would say so. That adds quite a bit of content and features for the money. Another one of the expensive options that we have to talk about, though, is what's under the hood.
Yeah, this will set you back almost 11 grand.
Yeah,
right?
what about 10.5?
Yeah.
Is the option for, this is a standard output power stroke. This is not the 500 horsepower, 1,200 pound-foot of torque high output power stroke, but still 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque.
Exactly. And of course, 10-speed heavy-duty automatic transmission is behind this. And this truck is very capable. And because this is quite an expensive option, and this truck is expensive, you should consider factory-backed extended warranties. So this truck already comes with a warranty, right?
Yeah.
But our friends at GrangerWarranty.com, you could actually call them up after you purchase a vehicle, and you could basically tell them exactly what you have, the mileage you have on your truck, and you could get factory-backed extended warranties. Just check it out using the link in the description below. And you can get work done at the certified facility with OEM quality parts.
Which is a huge deal, especially if you want to keep one of these trucks running and working, which is what they're meant to do. And I love the fact that this has the diesel. I love the fact that this is an XL off-road and that it's got the winch. Those are a lot of the features, plus it being a single cab, that make it really cool.
So let's count this up. So the engine, let's round up 11 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. The off-road package, let's round up, it's $1,000. So we're at 12.
Yep.
The winch is about $4,200, which is a lot of money for a winch. But you have to, like you explained, it's integrated, crash tested. It's all kind of up and, it's really well designed. So now we're at what? 15 grand.
Yeah, 16 including that off-road package as well. So that's
Yeah.
already quite a bit in options. Also, if we go to the rear, so this being a single cab in an F-250, it is a long bed, so 8-foot bed, which is great to see, and bed lined, also with a fifth wheel hitch package.
Yeah, and this also costs you a little bit of money. Maybe we can show the Monroney window sticker in a second. But listen to these specs, dude. So, fifth wheel, gooseneck capability of 22,500 pounds.
Ooh.
And so that's a lot. And like you said, this truck is a little bit shorter than a crew cab.
Yeah.
But I think still it's long enough to offer stability.
We've also got some power in the bed, Andre.
Yeah, and this is kind of to make it easier for you to hook up a trailer. Sorry, it's really windy here today.
Yeah, it's blowing
So
on.
it will basically, you could put your gooseneck ball or your fifth wheel attachment basically here and plug in your trailer, and you also have camera. If you have a fancy trailer with cameras,
Right.
you can plug that in as well. But it doesn't have export power, so that's blank
Yeah.
right there on the side.
Yeah, which makes sense. It is a slightly more basic truck, but also partly because this is a more basic truck, we've got, around 3,300 pounds of payload?
3,350.
Yeah.
Dude, that's quite a lot for a diesel specifically.
And for an F-250 as
Yeah.
well, so it's not a 350, not a 450.
So I don't know if I would go for this. Would you go for this?
No, I feel like I'm a young, spry enough guy that I can use the other many steps that they've built in. So
Yeah.
maybe not strictly necessary, but
So
we
I
didn't
think
spec out the truck ourselves.
I think I would save some money and not get this.
Yeah, for sure.
But like you said, the bumper has steps. The side of the bed has steps in it. So that's all good. And this has a heavy-duty hitch. So remember, they redesigned this in 2023 when we went there to the proving grounds. So they redesigned these hoops. This is a 2.5 receiver, 20,000 pounds on this hitch. That's what this truck is rated at.
Yeah, so all pretty impressive figures for what this truck is capable of when you put it to work. Should we check out the interior, Andre?
We should. I'm just
looking at
looking
the spare?
underneath. Nothing too like unique. It has mud flaps in the back here, so that's kind of protected.
Look at the size of the rear axle. Oh
It's a big one.
Yeah, it sure is. Now let's check out the inside, because
Yeah,
this
let's
is going
take a
to be
look.
one of the areas where you compromise a little bit, this being an XL off-road. Let me grab that so it doesn't fly away. So we got vinyl seats, vinyl floors, small screens, analog gauges, which is all cool stuff for a pickup truck and a work truck style one.
So dude, I'm trying to think, like, what would this truck be used for? I could see like a government agency maybe buying a truck like this.
Sure.
Maybe a utility company.
The government's maybe the only entity that could afford it.
That's not what I meant. But it also could be like an amazing hunting truck, for example.
Oh, for sure.
You put a camper back here, there's lots of space, and you can go anywhere. Dude, this is kind of interesting. I kind of like this because
Wow.
you could work.
Yeah, it's very
see this?
modular. You got some cup holders back there, some storage.
Yeah.
So that's all pretty cool, and this is of course a bench as well. We also have auxiliary switches up top, so if you do want to configure this with some lights, some additional accessories, that's easy enough to hook up.
Yeah, totally. It already has a winch, by the way. So in a pinch, 3 people can sit here. And then down here is where they are storing the winch
Nice.
controller.
Extra storage.
It's got a remote, it's got a wired controller, it's got a little bit of couple of accessories here. We have USB-C, you have 12 volt right here, and 12 volt down here. So a lot of power options here, except I'm not seeing like a 110 or a 120
Yeah.
household outlet.
You've also got your 4-wheel drive selector over there with your rear locker in the bottom left.
Yeah, right there.
All pretty nice stuff to have. But Andre, you know what we got to talk about.
What?
We got to talk about the price.
Okay, can you show that?
Oh, here's the window sticker. So, the base price of this truck, around $48.
Okay,
You're thinking, not so bad.
not so bad.
Final price, $72,580.
Before destination.
Yeah, before destination. So what, around 75
Yeah,
finally?
74. Wow, that's almost 75 grand.
So $75,000 for a single cab XL trim truck with vinyl seats, vinyl floors,
And a plastic steering wheel.
plastic steering wheel, single zone climate control.
And manual control, by the way.
That's a tough pill to swallow, to be honest.
Well, you know
this
what?
truck has a lot of cool things going for it, like we talked about, but that's a lot of money for a very simple single cab truck.
It is. There's no way to explain that. But you know what we should do? We should take it for a drive.
Yeah, we have to.
Do you want to grab the camera and
Sure
we
thing.
we could split?
We're leaving our video guy behind
Okay.
and just driving the two of us because this is it's a small.
Here's another thing.
Cab.
I don't have a push button start.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So it's kind of like the F-150 you used to have.
Yeah, but actually, old-fashioned guys like me, we kind of like a key. That's
Look, I mean,
fine.
it works.
Hold on, let me buckle up. Can you buckle up too?
Oh, I'm buckled.
Okay, you're
Here's
buckled.
our smaller center screen. We do still have an exhaust brake, so
Yes.
again, functionally, a lot of the features that you need to have are here. You've got the power of the diesel, you've got the rear locker,
And also the
knobby
capability,
tires.
the towing capability and the payload capability.
So it can do all the truck things.
And look at this, it has a couple more fancy features you may not expect in a very simple truck like this. It has, let me bounce. You can kind of see
Does
that
work?
moving.
Oh yeah.
Basically onboard scale, so when you put a trailer on this truck or really heavy loads, you can kind of see exactly.
But look at that, it's taunting us with options we don't have, like
Oh.
4 doors and side steps.
I know. Also has zone lighting, so those towing mirrors have lights
Got
underneath
lights built
them.
into No way.
Um,
Oh look, it looks like we've got blind spot monitoring.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, it does come with a few nice features.
and of course the towing pages, which kind of allows you to track your trailers, exact mileage you've driven, and also fuel efficiency of that trailer that you're pulling. And of course, these are not rated for efficiency by the government, right? Because this is the heavy-duty pickup truck segment. That's why we have it here for testing. So Ford sent it to us. We want to take it off-road, right? We want to go Denver
Absolutely.
100, see how efficient it is, or maybe not. And then But you know what? These new Power Strokes are actually, in our testing, they show up really well on efficiency.
That's true. We've gotten good fuel economy and, of course, good power and torque. That's never been an issue with these powertrains. And this truck as well, I'm really excited to see on the trail. I know that in general, F-250 and up HD trucks are not so much off-road machines as they are work machines, but this is the XL Off-Road.
Yeah.
Off-road is in the name, so we're definitely going to test it on the trail. And I believe that this truck will do really well. There might be some spots where we brush that front lip. Oh, look at the acceleration, Andre. Was it getting squirrely there?
It was. I did a little Tokyo drift. Did you see that?
Yeah, I felt it. That's pretty good. This truck has got a lot of pep, especially it being a single cab and on the slightly smaller side. This weighs still over 7,000 pounds.
Yeah, so I calculated that this has a gross vehicle weight rating of 11,000. This has 3,350 pounds of payload. So this truck's curb weight is just over 7,600 pounds, which doesn't make it a lightweight.
No, that's
but lighter than some others.
It is surprising because, for example, my single cab long bed 1994 four-wheel drive Ram Cummins weighs around 6,300 pounds, so about 1,300 pounds lighter than this truck, even though it is a similar configuration. They're both diesel, both single cab, both four-wheel drive, both 8-foot beds. So over time, these vehicles have gotten heavier and more substantial. But that's not a bad thing when you're hooked up to a trailer.
Exactly. You want kind of a solid platform to pull your trailer with. But this truck's body is also aluminum. So I mean, Ford, I mean, it is pretty fancy. I want to do an acceleration here on this side road because there is no traffic here.
Yeah, so we can come to a stop.
But it is a testament, like you said, just kind of you can kind of see with more capability, these trucks are getting heavier. Actually, let me do a couple things.
Oh, you configure it in its drag racing mode?
Is there a launch mode? Okay,
you do have some drive modes.
Okay, so traction control disabled.
Oh boy, you're bold.
How about, is there a sport mode?
We got a lot of torque, Andre.
Eco, tow haul, normal, slippery, off-road.
Normal, I suppose.
Normal, okay.
Definitely not eco.
So
let's see how this speedo climbs.
Oh, wait. What's going on? Yeah, it's okay.
What do you got?
We're okay.
Let's check it out.
We're okay.
Oh, look at
Oh
that.
my God! It's breaking loose in second gear and whatever gear.
That's quick.
I don't know. We don't have a scientific instrument here.
No,
but that felt.
Seat of the pants feeling, even just watching the speedo climb, can tell you that for a pickup truck, this is pretty quick.
Yeah, it goes. So this is a conundrum, because at one hand it's kind of a simple truck, work truck. It's also a very expensive truck. It's also a very fast truck. It's also a very capable one as well.
Yeah, I love the everything about what this truck is. The only thing that I struggle with really is the how much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing that we could say.
Just in general, I'm not saying that you need fancy embroidered leather in a pickup truck. I'm not saying that you need branded fancy audio system or huge screens, because my truck doesn't have any of those things. Trucks are perfectly fine without them.
Yeah.
But when a truck costs over $70,000, I start to expect at least a few things, at least heated seats and
how about navigation?
Dual zone climate control, navigation, a wireless phone charger. That's the kind of stuff that if I'm paying over $70,000, I would kind of expect it.
Exactly. Although, like the lack of navigation in the system, I mean, you can pair up your phone, right? So use that as well. But I totally agree with you. I mean, there's certain expectations, because for 74 grand, you could buy a really well-equipped F-150 trimmer, almost maybe an F-150 Raptor, although F-150 Raptor starts about 80.
Yeah.
So for that much money, you could buy a lot of other different trucks.
Yeah, and just with vehicles in general, 75 grand can get you a lot of truck, can get you a lot of car.
Yeah, a lot of SUV.
Absolutely. There's quite a bit that you could do with that money. But there's quite a bit that you can do with this truck as a tool, as a thing that you use for work. And that's how we want to test it while we have it here with us in Colorado.
So this just in.
Yeah.
I'm excited, dude. It's going to be a really cool couple of weeks because we can also compare it to some other vehicles we have as well.
Absolutely. So all of that and more coming up very soon. Off-road videos, MPG towing. Keep your eye out for it because this truck is sweet. We're going to drive it a bunch.
Gotta flex a little.
Gotta get the big muscle truck going.
Yes. Thanks.